Midterm by Zachary Kojo. The dilemma. You and your roommate has suddenly grown distant as they keep brushing aside any kind of attempt of asking what's wrong as they decide to tell you that they're okay or they're fine, but you can tell there's some growing tension between you two as you are unsure whether to engage or let it sort itself out. Option one. You can allow it allows a healthier relationship and it can allow a healthier relationship for communication as it's keys to understanding one each other because a two-way communication between both parties is essential for human communication as we both be able to tell how we feel and how we act. So doing this will be able to allow you and the roommate to feel more of an understanding of who you each other are and that you two can work things out according to each needs. The issue, not only that, the issue can get potentially sorted out through the discussion because now that you both have talked it over, there's a good chance that you both will be understanding of the dilemma, and there won't be any more growing tension further later on that might boil over into some kind of, let's say, explosion or or a mental breakdown or a side of rage that you'll feel unwarranted, but they'll feel that is completely appropriate, and we don't want that. Option two is to disengage. Your roommate can just sort himself out. He has his problem, you have yours. So you can just think that whatever it is, it may not involve you, and so you can just let them just figure out what they're doing, and how they can handle their own problem situation. After all, you two barely know each other, so it may be uncomfortable to reach out to them because you don't know exactly how they will act or how to get close to them because you don't want because haven't been because you two are just acquaintances, so you don't really talk that much, and being vulnerable is scary, right? But here's the thing: the impact is you'll be able to get feedback from your roommate to you, so you can understand their frame of reference to see exactly where they're coming from, and what issues may arise, and if they potentially involve you. Again, once you got once this discussion happens, you'll be able to get a better understanding of the rules of interpersonal communication between you two, as the roommates can give you pointers on what they deem acceptable and unacceptable, and you can give pointers what you deem acceptable and unacceptable, as well as you both understanding where each other are coming from, as to why they have the mindset they have as of late. And you two are going to live each other, so it's best to get used to each other's company, as you two are going to be stuck with each other for a long time, and dealing with each other is going to be inevitable as you live in the same home. Subjectivity. For one, you can just subjectively assume that the roommate is just bitter through no intentional fault of your own, as they can be going through some kind of problems that you have no say in. For example, they could have a lost relative and they're just clamming up because they're grieving, or they got a poor test on a grade and they just don't know how to accept it. Another party two is you may that they may believe that you have done something absurd akin to the expectancy violation theory, which is that you may have done something that is very socially unacceptable from where they are, and so they're going to view you as a degenerate, such as degenerate because you may be a slob and you may have just a slob or a hoarder in their eyes, and by keeping so many things that you don't necessarily need, they may think of you as less than a more well-adjusted man due to these kind of perceptions, as well as a cultural outlook that doesn't correspond with your own because you do not know what they do in with their family, and so what they find acceptable and unacceptable in their household may be acceptable and unacceptable, maybe be the vice reverse for you. So it's best so things can be a little bit subjective. Speaking with your chest, the roommate may not think highly of themselves, so they might not be that keen to confrontation as they may have a sense of low self-esteem. So they're not going to really, so they're not, and with low self-esteem might also come with low confidence, as they're not going to be outgoing enough to start a conversation, as they may not feel they will be able to persuade you with their talking skills because they have this perception idea they can talk hours and hours in the end with no actual confidence in themselves that they'll be able to change their mind of what's going on. So they're just going to accept how things are without any change, and it may not be a good thing. Confrontation verbal. For it's a good thing. The benefits of confrontation for verbal confrontation that you'll be able to use a sandwich method, which is to give a set a give a statement of criticism between two compliments. And this is the best way to talk to your roommate about how they're acting and what they can do better without them getting offended as they will take it into accord. Another thing that you can do, another benefit is concrete language because being more exact of what you're saying can help you land a better picture of what you're going through and how they're interacting with you, and it will give a better sense of communication between the two, such as such as a syntactic rule because you're using words for a literal sense of what they mean. But the hindrance is abstract language because you can maybe using a lot of slangs, and slangs have a abstract amount of terms and several different meanings for the same thing throughout different locales, dialects. And so you may have said something that you thought might mean one thing, but they'll interpret it as the other, and that can lead to some sort of confusion, as well as and if and another hindrance is phonological rule, as you may accidentally raise your voice out of anger and raise your voice not out of anger, but just to make a point, and they'll raise their voice, and then you'll both go into a shouting contest for no discernible reason, other than the fact that you made a mistake, and that's going to shut down the conversation in itself. Nonverbal confrontation, nonverbal. Nonverbal communication is maintaining eye contact because you're showing the other person that you care, that you aren't trying to understand them and see them as a person, as you're taking the time to understand what they're doing. You can touch when appropriate to show a bond, so as to show that you will be there for them, as well as you accept them as a human, as of course as another person in their household, and you can be mindful of personal space just to demonstrate that you respect boundaries. A hindrance is leakage, where you would possibly show one say one thing and show another with your body language, because body language speaks more than words, and so you may incite some kind of a wrong message that you're trying to send, as they will start to make out not what you're saying, but what you're showing, and that can be detrimental to what the point you're trying to make. Poor time management is by showing that is by not taking them seriously enough to give them the time of day that they need. That will display that you are uncaring, and that may not be the effort you're going for right now. An egregious facial expression can just can just stop the conversation in a snap right there, because you will be showing a huge sign of disdain for them, and that's something a lot of people are not going to respect, and will just end the talk right there. Examples of nonverbal communication is a person giving a hug after someone crying because they may have lost a relative, and giving them the comfort and warmth they need will be a great sign for building character and friendship and relationship. And another example is a person apologizing with gritting their teeth and shaking a fist is to show a sign of anger, and that it is very disingenuous, as it will not mean you're apologizing, but rather that you're just doing it because you feel like you're forced to, and that's not a good apology. Thank you so much for your time and this opportunity to keep the midterm in. Thank you.